Are we really alive? There is such confusion concerning life and the life principle. In animate beings, we generally think of the life principle as a pulsing heartbeat, so we say that bodies live when the heart is beating and that they die when the heart stops beating. The fact is that bodies neither live nor die. Bodies express life, but the expression of life is not life. Life is in the one still, motionless light of the Creator Himself, and is expressed in bodies as an extension of life evidenced in nature. The Creator alone lives as the one universal being. The Creator alone lives as the one universal being. I wrote that twice. The Creator is light, one still light of all knowing. Creation is God's knowing, expressed by His thinking. The whole creating universe, therefore, is but a pulsing electric record of God's thinking, expressed by electric waves of motion. Man's body is therefore but states of motion, which record the idea of man as one part of the whole ideal of creation. Waves of motion cannot know anything, nor can they live or die. Waves belong to the electric universe, which manifests God's ideal in forms of that ideal, but the body itself thus expressed is not the ideal. The idea is never created. It remains forever in the mind of the Creator. This brings us face to face with the fact that the body is not the person or self of man. The self of man is God in man. God is the one universal being. The one being alone lives. The one being alone is eternal and immortal. The body of man is eternally repetitive. It forever appears, disappears, and reappears in cycles. We call the cycles of man's appearance and disappearance life and death. But bodies never having lived cannot die. There is no death in all the universe. There is but a continual repetition of life cycles of rebirth into their two opposite expressions, which we call life and death, but both are in fact one. It is this supposition that the person is the body, and that the body lives and dies, that causes man to think that bodies are realities, when in fact all reality is in the spirit which centers man, that core of identity by which each individual knows himself as I. That I of the individual person is not in the body. It can never disappear. The I is eternal. It is immortal. It will simplify our comprehension of the nature of the universe to realize that all we have got to deal with in the entire universe is light, the one light of God, the Creator, and the two lights of God's thinking, which is electrically recorded as matter and space. These two opposite expressions are represented by incandescent light of the sun and the black light of space. Our bodies are composed of electric waves of those two lights, interwoven into forms, just as the tapestry weaver weaves forms into fabric. Bodies of all creating things are merely the electric product of mind thinking, expressing mind knowing. It is not logical to conceive of any electrically manufactured product as living or dying. Even though it is a human body, it is as much a product of God's thinking as the automobile is a product of man's thinking. We never think of the automobile as living, even though it expresses power and motion, and has the heartbeat of the electric current which activates it. We know that the intelligence which manifests life, power, and motion in that car is in the intelligence which operates it, and is not in the car itself. The sooner we can realize that our bodies are as much machines which obey the will of the intelligence which operates them, as all of men's machines likewise are, the more we will look to that centering intelligence of man as the reality. We must someday realize that the body is but an instrument which periodically wears out and has to be replaced, just as automobiles wear out and have to be replaced. What we have said of the life principle is true also of knowledge and power. We think of knowledge and power as qualities which belong to our bodies. Knowledge and power are also cosmic qualities which are in God only. Our bodies know nothing, nor have they the power to lift even one finger without reaching for that knowledge or power through the electric cables of light which extend from the still light of God to the moving light waves which our bodies are. Waves of water extend from the calm sea. Waves of water manifest the power of the sea, but that power is not in the wave of motion, but in the still sea itself. That power is in the sea whether manifested by waves or not. Likewise, our bodies are light waves of motion, extended from the stillness of the one light within which is all power, all knowledge, and all presence. Knowledge and power are, therefore, but manifested in the light waves of motion which our bodies are, but they themselves have no knowledge of power, just as they have no life or death. The belief that our bodies are ourselves leads us also to believe that our bodies think and that our brains do our thinking. This also is not true. Our brains are but the electric storehouses for memories recorded upon them as a result of the experiences of our senses. They are also the nerve center of all parts of the body, just as a switchboard is the nerve center of multiple extensions. Without that switchboard, the distant parts of the body could not make the rest of the body aware of their condition, nor could any part of the body act to express the will of its centering intelligence. The will to act is not in the body, however. It too is the centering intelligence which operates the body, and that centering intelligence is the God self which man is. The will to act is in the person, the being, which man is. It is not in the body. Gradually man emerges from his primate jungle abode to the high mountaintop of his divine inheritance. The farther he is removed from his early beginnings, and the more he is extended into the light of all knowing, the more he becomes aware of that God self which motivates his body, and the more he relies upon it instead of his body. For this reason, man gradually becomes co-creator with God by constant inner communication with God through the language of light, which man knows as inspiration. Inspiration is man's direct inner communication with God. It is the basis of all genius. It is the answer to the difference between the average man and the rare mystic. Look ye therefore to the light within you, and not to the body with which you but manifest that light. For in that is your only way to power. That is your only way to power, and that only is your only way toward God, the source of all things, without whom nothing in this universe could be or become.